So let's continue with our quadratics, study of quadratic equations, and we'll look at completing the square. So typically when we're given a quadratic, we have it given in the form ax squared plus bx plus c, and the goal of completing the square is to convert it into something like alpha x plus beta squared plus gamma. So we want it in this form, so we want it as x plus something squared, maybe multiplied by a factor, and then plus gamma. So this is what we call turning point form. Now, although we haven't done sketching of quadratics yet, quadratic equations look something like this. So they have a y-intercept. Maybe I'll draw it a little differently. So we have something like this. We have a y-intercept that we would have to calculate. Now, this form is more useful for the y-intercept because for the y-intercept we just set x equal to 0, and then we see that the y-intercept is given by this plus c. But another point that's important for quadratics is this, and this is the turning point. Now, this tells you very little about the turning point. It tells you essentially nothing. But this form tells you everything about the turning point. It tells you that the turning point occurs at minus beta comma gamma. So this coordinate here is minus beta gamma. If this isn't entirely meaningful at this point, don't worry, because the goal is not to sketch quadratics in this video. The goal is to be able to see this process. How do we go from here to here? Okay, so let's have a look at an example. So complete the square for x squared plus 2x plus 5. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this term, so the coefficient here is a 2, and what we're going to do is we're going to half it. So we're going to multiply by 1/2. And what we end up with is x squared plus 2x plus 5 is equal to x plus 1, and then we'll put the square there, and there'll be a plus 5. Now I'm going to put this equal sign in this way, because let's expand this out. What do I get? So remember, x plus 1 squared is x plus 1 times x plus 1. This is x squared plus x and then plus 1. So I get x squared plus 2x plus 1 from here. And now there's a plus 5, so I'm going to put a plus 5. Plus 5, so I get x squared, maybe I'll just simplify it and write x squared plus 6 here. Okay, so we have x squared plus 2x plus 6. But that's not x squared plus 2x plus 5. So what we need to do here is we need to subtract the term that, the error term. And what that is going to be 2 over 2 squared. So we take this coefficient divided by 2 and square it. And so what we have now is x plus 1 squared plus 5 minus 1 squared, which is just minus 1. And so I get x plus 1, write this a little neater, plus 4. And that's the turning point. Okay, since that's probably a little confusing, let's write it more generally. So suppose I've got x squared plus bx plus c. Then how I'm going to complete the square is I'm going to go x plus b divided by 2, square that, plus c, and then just minus b over 2 squared. Okay, this is the formula for completing the square. Okay, So let's try it with this example. So we're going to take x plus the coefficient here, which is 3. According to the formula, we divide it by 2. So we'll get 3 over 2. Square it. There's a -1 there, and we'll have 3 over 2 squared. Okay, so now what we have is x plus 3 over 2 squared minus 1 minus 9 over 4. And now this is just x plus 3 over 2 squared. And then if we do the fraction, it's minus 4 minus 9 over 4. So we have x plus 3 over 2 squared minus 13 over 4. Okay, for our final example, let's complete the square for 2x squared plus 4x plus 7. So what we do is we factor out this leading 2, and we write our quadratic as x squared plus 2x plus 7 over 2. And then we just complete the square in the usual way. So I get x plus 1 squared, because we have 2 divided by 2, plus 7 over 2 minus 2 over 2 squared. Now this is just 2 x plus 1 squared plus 7 over 2 minus 1. And this is just 2x plus 1 squared. And now we just need to add the fraction. So I've got 7 minus 2 over 2. And just put the 2 back in. So I've got 2x plus 1 squared. Well, this is 5 over 2, but if we multiply that by 2, I get plus 5. And that's it. So just remember that we half the coefficient in front of the x and put that in here. We leave the c alone and then subtract half of the coefficient of b squared. Now you really need to practice this one, especially if this is completely new. So be sure to check the video description for the tute notes, and the fully worked solutions are available in the cheat notes. If you liked this video, hit the like button, and if you want to see more content like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next video.